Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics. I am super excited to bring you this comparison. It's the black neon versus the standard neon. If you are thinking about a schooling tetra and have these two on your list of must-have, check out this video first because I think the results are going to be a little bit surprising. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoy the video. Like I said, so if you've been thinking about these fish, there are some things to consider. There are some important differences between the two. Obviously, the first difference is the way they look. And I'm not going to pretend that the black neon is significantly better looking than the standard neon. I don't necessarily think that's the case. The standard neon is awesome. You see all that blue and red, and they really stand out, especially when you keep them in a big group. They are just a fish that is going to show very, very brightly in an aquarium. The black neon has got obviously the black as well as more of a blue iridescence to them, and they are also a beautiful fish, especially as they settle into your aquarium and they get used to their surroundings. Don't underestimate just how beautiful the black neon can look, even though a lot of times at a store it's the standard neon that stands out a little bit more. Now when it comes to the size, they're going to be very similarly sized. Both of them are going to max out right around 1.5 inches or so. I do find the black neons, at least in our setups, tend to get a little bit larger, and they're also a little bit deeper bodied, so they're a slightly larger fish just overall. When it comes to tank size, they're really both the same. Could you put them in a 10-gallon doing the standard minimum of 6? Yes, I really prefer to have these fish in a 20-gallon or more because I like to keep them in larger groups. Both of them are a potential schooling fish, and so while it is usually recommended to keep them in groups of 6 or more, I really like to keep them in groups of 10, 12, 15, maybe even 20 or more. And in a 20-gallon, you can do that more easily. It's not uncommon to keep 12 to 15 in a 20-gallon and not have it look like they're crowded. Where in a 10-gallon, when you put 6 in there, sometimes it looks like that's about as far as you're going to be able to take it. Now, here's one of the important differences besides the color that we've already talked about, and that is the potential water parameters. I have found the black neons to be far more tolerant of a wider range of water parameters. And so while they can go on the acidic side down to around a pH of 6, they can easily go up to a pH of 8, and that's where we have traditionally always kept them, right around a pH of 8 with relatively hard water. We've got GH and KH of around 10 degrees. Where the standard neon, yes, it can go down into those lower pHs around 6, but once you start approaching 8, I don't think they last as long. They've never been as strong for us, and they don't live as long, where it's not uncommon for us to have black neons lasting 4 or 5 years. Usually for us, the standard neon doesn't live quite as long, maybe 2 to 3 years, but I think for us, it's partially because our water parameters are not really ideal for that fish, where the black neon far more forgiving. So if you have harder water, you have a higher pH, I would highly recommend the black neon as opposed to the standard neon. Like I said, they're both going to school nicely. They both pretty much have the same personality. They're going to be out and about, basically a mid-water fish with a medium level of activity. I wouldn't say that they're overly active, but I also wouldn't say that they're completely stationary either. And so if you want that nice, relaxed schooling behavior, you really can't go wrong with either one of them. Feeding these fish is relatively easy to do as well. I haven't found them to be picky. I will say that I think the black neon is a little bit easier to feed. They tend to be even less picky than the standard neon. We feed all of our fish a variety of Northfin foods. By the way, if you want to see how we feed our fish, check out that video in the upper right-hand corner. We'll go over all of that to make sure all your fish are getting fed properly. But we feed them a wide range of flakes and micro pellets. And believe it or not, both of these fish really go crazy for live baby brine shrimp. They absolutely love it. If you've never hatched it before, check out that video in the upper right-hand corner. I'll put it in the description as well. But it's a really fun thing to do. Fish, especially the neon types, absolutely love live baby brine. Even the full-size neons are going to like that quite a bit. Now, the other major difference between these fish is overall health and overall hardiness. I would say here is where the black neon has a very significant advantage. And over everything we've talked about so far, this is the primary advantage to keeping black neons over the standard neon tetra. And that is these fish, as we just mentioned, they withstand a wide range of water parameters, but just overall, they are less prone to disease. I'm sure some of you have heard the neon tetra disease. That is primarily a disease with the standard neon tetra, at least in our experience, that has been the case. And at this point, we've brought in all the different types of neons and brought in hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of each type. So the standard neon, I would say of all neon types, is probably the weakest strain of every single one, regardless of what types of water parameters they are in. So if you're looking for a very hardy fish that is going to last a long time in your aquarium, I think the black neon here is a clear winner. By the way, if you want more information about either one of these fish, check out the species profiles down in the description below. We go over a lot more details on both the black neon and the standard neon. Now, when it comes to cost and availability, I would say that these are both very easy fish to find. You're going to find them at all your big box stores. Usually, most of your local fish stores are going to have them as well. So these are not hard fish to find. Price-wise, they are usually very similarly priced. You can usually find them for a few dollars, maybe as much as $4 or $5, depending on the store and depending on the size. But overall, these are easy fish to find, and they are easy fish, and they're not expensive fish when it comes to their overall cost. So both of them are awesome, but if I were making a recommendation to most beginners or people who are just looking for a nice schooling fish about the size of a neon tetra, I would strongly recommend the black neon just because it's going to be hardier for most people. It's less prone to disease. I know the colors are not quite as intense as the standard neon, and that is a really good reason to be attracted to the standard neon. However, again, patience, let the black neons settle in, get them in a large group. And by the way, both of these fish look amazing with a darker background and a darker substrate. They tend to show off much more vibrantly. And if you really want to see something cool, if you have a dark water or a black water tank, especially those black neons with that blue iridescent stripe, they really stand out. But you really can't go wrong with either one. Would love to hear from you in the comments section below. Do you have a preference, one over the other? Have you had better luck with one over the other? Really appreciate you being here. We'll see you in the next one.